Here we are on our way into Nebraska Furniture Mart to check out what might be the most premier merchandising of Arcade1up products out there. Trust me, it's so good, you're gonna wish you had this in your home. Alright guys, here we are at the amazing, insane setup for Arcade1up at Nebraska Furniture Mart. The other day, Danny from Arcade and Jason Little Alien were talking about the setup and display at Best Buy of Arcade1up, and Jason Little Alien said, hey, they should set it up like a home arcade to display these models. Boy, that made me realize, I guess people aren't familiar with Nebraska Furniture Mart's setup. There are only a few Nebraska Furniture Marts across the country, and so I thought, hey, I'd stop by, film the setup so you guys can check it out, because it is absolutely insane. They have such a huge variety of products. Like right here, you see the, cocktail tables, right? They have MK2 and Marvel versus Capcom. And these are all set up, turned in, plugged on. As you can see, there's a crowd of people playing these. Over here, we have the countercade display with a couple MK2s. And as we whip around here on the other side, we have an NBA Jam and one of the Galaga countercades. And we'll talk about this NBA Jam a little bit later. You can see it's a little strange there. But as you go around, you can see this is truly set up to make you feel like you're in a game room. We have a pool table here in the middle of the Arcade1up display, right? The purpose here, Nebraska Furniture Mart wants you to envision your home. Over here, we have a couch set up with the Infinity game table. Of course, you see more of the MK2 countercades ready to go. As we come up front, we start seeing our Deluxes. Of course, here's the class of 81 Deluxe along with the KI stool. Then we have the Pac-Man Deluxe set up and ready to play. This is quite the setup. It is very large. As you see, we're coming around here. We have the pinball machines. These are the Zen tables, and both set up, ready to go. And here is MVC2. Of course, this one does not work, and it is on, but it does not function. So I don't know if it just came unplugged or what. Then we have the Atari Legacy Tempest set up and KI. One of the most interesting things about this setup is the wall decor itself. Here's a little Marvel versus Street Fighter sign. And as you come up here is this great collage. It has Space Invaders, Ninja Turtles, Marvel, Star Wars, Street Fighter, MK. And the room is surrounded by logos of the different games and logos from Arcade1up. And that faux brick finish really makes it feel like you're in your home game room. One of the cool things I thought was some of these Gen 2 posters they had up, right? All the nostalgia, no quarters are required. And then this is the Babycade setup. And the last time I was at Nebraska Furniture Mart, they did have at least the Paw Patrol one sitting out, but both are seemingly out of stock post-Christmas. Over here we have our Infinity game tables and then these micro MK2s. I can't remember what they're called. Desk shit. As we walk around, of course, now we even have the Couchcade, and you can't really play the Couchcade unless you have a couch. So people visiting this area can plop down on the sofa, pick up the Couchcade, and start playing. As you see right there, there's Pac-Man right on the big screen TV. And not to be outdone, here's the Star Wars and the Wheel of Fortune Casino-cade. This, I suppose, is one of the problems of having these in public. Somebody's monkeyed with the login information. And of course, I am a moron and didn't realize that this was, I forgot it was a touch screen. And so I was pounding on the buttons to see what would happen and couldn't get it to do anything. And as I take a look here at Star Wars, I realize, oh yeah, this is a touchscreen. So I figured I'd give it one more try. And I came over and tried to reset it and went ahead and just logged in, and then it started spinning, and it's just kind of infinitely spinning. So I think we'll just leave that one there and move on to look at more of the showroom floor. I think this place is just amazing. It's all the sounds are blaring when you're in here. There's, like I said, crowds of people playing, kids, adults, all ages. They have the different generations sitting out because you can still purchase these, which is really cool. And one of the things I thought was really interesting is here they've used the stool seats as wall decor. What a great idea. You know, looked great. Really cool idea. And over here we have a mom and her son playing the Infinity game table. I didn't really want to bother them, but on the way out they actually have another smaller display. Again, a smattering of countercades, the Zen pinball table, the KI. Here we actually have a working MVC2, and as you can see, it's on closeout. I believe Nebraska Furniture Mart is one of, if not the only, that still has MVC2s in stock. And of course, here is another Atari Legacy cabinet, also on closeout. And they do have another Infinity game table set up, so I thought I'd play around with that here a little bit and take a look, since we weren't able to see that in the big showroom area. So while we're looking at that, folks, if you like this video, be sure to smash that like button. And if you're new, please hit subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. And of course, whenever you put any of this stuff out, you got to imagine people are going to damage it. So here's that NBA Jam countercade. You can see it looks like they printed a shot of the screen and just kind of glued it on there. You can see the film hasn't been removed. So that's still on there. It's pretty interesting. Here's another example. We have the Deluxe Big Buck Hunter, and this is stuck inside of some loading screen. So thanks for joining us, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, have fun.